for someone else unless you have to. At the end of the day, there's nothing that prohibits a man from doing more than one aqd at the same time. However, there are going to be certain acts that you're going to have to leave off, such as who do you consummate with first? Is a woman a virgin, or she's been married before, or she has children? Thayyib. If you have one wife who's a virgin and one wife who's a thayyib, how many days you spend with them? There are many different things like this. All right? So you have to take that into consideration. Like marrying a woman who's menstruating. It's permissible to make the nikah while she's menstruating. It's not haram. Obviously, you can't have vaginal intercourse with her. So you're going to leave off, you're going to be forced to leave off a recommended act of entering the marriage, consummating the marriage the sunnah way. Wallahu alam.
You said two sisters, meaning blood sisters or just two?
Sisters in faith, perhaps. Abu Amin.
I noticed if you mentioned anything about Safa and Marwa, is that not part of
Tayyib. Tayyib. Question says, I noticed that you didn't mention anything about Safa and Marwa. Is that not a part of Hajj? Yes, of course it is. That's a good observation. But we mentioned the Safa and Marwa what? Previous classes. In detail. Further Nafis. Further Riyadh.
What's your opinion on the brother?
We'll talk about that, inshallah, like I promised you, inshallah.
Mohammed Bey from Canada, Ontario. My parents don't want me to go to Medina University because they need someone to support them. They want me to get my bachelor, then go to Medina University after. Can you shed some advice?
Tayyib. Wa alaikum assalam. Tayyib. With regards to Mohammed Bey from Toronto, I want to go, I want to study, but my parents need me to support them. So they want me to go to Medina after I get my master's degree? Bachelor's degree. Can you shed some advice? I don't understand the question. The question doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I heard wrong, my bad ears. Maybe Nafis didn't read it the right way. But if they need you to support them, what does that have to do with you getting a bachelor's degree then traveling? If you have to get the bachelor's degree to make money, then you also still be what? To stay there in Toronto. You get the bachelor's degree. Well, you can't even take it the bachelor's degree. For what reason? For me to have a backup plan, security, or to support you. For backup and security, that's a different scenario. But we need you to support us, to give us basic needs and necessities. Then that means when you graduate school, you're going to be where? And not in Medina. So either it's a mistake.
That's in the question before. Yeah, posted email.
So that's the actual question? Well, I don't know. But to me, if that's the actual question, it seems as if it's a trick. I don't know, but I said it seems as if it's a trick. It seems as if they're saying, we'll let you go to Medina after you finish your degree. And when you finish your degree and say, oh son, we need you to pay bills now. Why didn't you tell me that 3-4 years ago? As if it seems as if they're stringing you along. And they'll say to you, oh, it's a phase, he'll get out of it. He's gonna sell some video, some guy, hadith disciple, some young kid. Maybe, I don't know. But that's what it seems like. I'm not saying this about the brother's parents, but it seems as if it's that way. I've seen this before though. Certain parents, they'll do this. They'll string along their children. Inshallah, I'll let you go after you finish this. And then after they finish the while, now I need you to stay now. What's the purpose of having a degree if you're not gonna? We're gonna benefit from it. Everybody understand this? And they quote the hadith, Anta wa maluka li abik. Say you and your money belongs to your what? Your father. No other hadiths but that hadith though. So we have to be careful. We have to be mindful, brothers and sisters. If your parents need you for their service, to respect them, to have birr, to treat them kindly, then that's mandatory. And I don't think that you have to go to Medina to get mandatory knowledge in 2017. In 2017, I don't think it's no longer a fard ilm, yani fard aini, for you to go to Medina. You can get the fard ain right in your home. The basics of Aqidah, the basics of Tahara from the information. Everybody understand this? Unless it's a person who's extremely talented. You can make the adhan, inshallah. Unless a person who's extremely talented and he has a great deal of promise for ilm, and people are counting on this person to go and be the next Ibn Taymiyyah, inshallah, of Toronto, Canada, that's one thing. But if that's not the case, then you have to stay and serve your parents. But if your parents actually don't need you to serve them, they have their own money, they have good health, they don't have no servants, you visit them once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, they don't need you, but they just don't want you to leave Canada because they'll miss you, or they're afraid that you'll become an extremist, a terrorist, ISIS, ISIL. They're afraid that you'll get refuted. They're afraid that you'll give away your ability to be this engineer or doctor, which is the case with most parents. If that's the case, and you want to go to Medina, you have that as your dream, you have the ability, do not listen to your parents. Do not listen to your parents. You do not have to obey your parents in that issue, because they don't need you. They are just trying to hinder you and prevent you from something that they're going to need and beg for when they die and pass away. And that is walad salih, a righteous son. And what door could be easier and closer and faster to a righteous son than beneficial ilm? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And Allah knows best. La ilaha illallah. Allahumma rabbana da'wa tamam. Qala ayati Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Akhi, be brave, have courage. We've answered this question, alhamdulillah, many times. It comes up all of the time. Brothers and sisters, they ask the same question over and over again, and we give the same answer. Don't think that this knowledge is just going to come to you on a bed of roses. Don't think it's going to come on a silver platter. It's going to come with sacrifice and difficulty. As a wise man said, Ibn Umar said, wear a pair of what, Sheikh Mahdi? Iron sandals. It's not easy. We'll have to sacrifice. Don't think that if you're going to tread the path of the prophets and the messengers, if you're going to tread the path that leads to Jinnah, that it's going to come without nobody hating you and without people just being displeased with you. It's a bitter reality. You have to choose. It's just that simple. Wallahu alam.
Amina from Germany, Frankfurt. Is it permissible to eat with real gold forks?
Is it permissible to eat with real gold forks? From Frankfurt, Germany, say no. The people of knowledge, they say that the word inah is mentioned in the hadith, hadithdisciple. It includes any type of vessel or utensil. A fork, a spoon, a teacup, a platter, a tray, anything that is used for dining. The ulama of Islam, they say it's impermissible. Allahu alam.
Abul Hassan from UK, Easter, Assalamu alaikum Sheikh. Sensei, is everyone that goes against the ruler from the Khawarij?
Question says, is everyone who goes against the ruler from the Khawarij? I'll say no. We've explained this before. This is one of the different modern day phenomena that we have today. Anyone who verbally, physically disagrees or goes against a ruler, they call him Khawarij. No, I wouldn't say that. Now, when we talk about the leader, obviously there are different types of leaders. There's some people that are actually legitimate Islamic rulers. That's one scenario. He himself is a legitimate Islamic ruler. And then there's someone else who isn't a legitimate Islamic ruler. Obviously, if he's legitimate and he's illegitimate, there's going to be a whole different separate set of rulings. And it's going to be scientifically incorrect to mix and mash and merge between the two. That's going to be a capital mistake in the ilm. Okay? Such as a child. This is my child that's from legal marriage. This is my child from zina. I'm going to take the rulings of inheritance, of mahram, of this and that. I'm going to do what? That's wrong. That's first and foremost. Secondly is, what's meant by going against the ruler? Giving the ruler advice in public and private, refusing to obey the ruler, taking up arms against the ruler. It depends on what you mean by going against. And it's also incorrect to say for someone to write an article in which he talks about prostitution in his country or corruption in the government, and someone to say, you're the Khawarij, you've picked up arms against the ruler. That's two different levels. Okay? Also, it depends on what's the purpose of them going against the ruler? Are they going against the ruler because of dunya, wealth, things like this, or which they believe things that are necessary, basic rights of the subjects? Everybody clear on this? Basic rights of the what? Of the subjects. And also depends on what they say about the ruler. Someone says the ruler is a kafir, murtad, an apostate. And then these people, they say, we believe he's a Muslim, but either he has to be removed, he should be removed, we're not going to obey him, or they say he's the illegitimate ruler of this country. Once again, it's going to be scientifically wrong to do what? And mash them up and put them in one sloppy plate and say khawarij. That is a khata. That's wrong. Everybody understand this? Okay? Now, you read the classical books of fiqh, you'll find the different rulings in Kitab al-Jihad, such as Qitalu Ahl al-Baghi or Kitab al-Bugha. The classical, talking about years ago, and they have a chapter called Qitalu Ahl al-Baghi, fighting the people who are not Khawarij, but they refuse to obey the ruler, and they either pick up arms or they are conspiring to pick up arms and go against the ruler for one reason or another, a grievance or a beef. We're not saying he's a kafir. We believe he's a Muslim. He may be the legitimate ruler, but in this issue, we have to physically force him, so on and so forth. And what is the ruler's job and obligation? To write them, to correspond with them, and to debunk their doubts that they have. And obviously, if they don't have doubts, but if they have actual proofs and evidences, then he has to do what? Listen to them. Adinu nasiha. Okay, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm a bad leader. Maybe I should step down. Maybe I should give them this money. Maybe I should open these schools and get rid of the corruption. And if not, if he's right and they're wrong, they need to physically take up arms against them. They're not kuffar. They're not to be, the people who run away are not to be taken, stabbed in the back, shot. They're not supposed to hunt them down. Their women are not taken as concubines. Their wealth, and the list goes on. It's a different ruling. So it's an error to mix them all up. So we have several different scenarios and situations. Who's the ruler? What is said about the ruler? What they believe about the ruler? And the list goes on. But to just say that everyone's from the Khawarij is scientifically wrong. Min hayth al-ilm. That's wrong. You can't do that. As we said before, there are many reasons behind this. We want to get into them right now with regards to the political factions, okay, the news, the media. Anybody who speaks out against the ruler is from the Khawarij. In other words, I'll stop and I'll say this. Let's make an example of a husband and a wife. If a woman complains about her husband, a woman, she goes to the imam, she calls the imam, my husband beats me up. Not the beating that's mentioned in the Quran. He blacked my eye. He knocked out my tooth. He kicked me in my ribs. My husband is cheating on me. He doesn't feed me. The house is cold. It's hot in August. We have no air conditioner whatsoever. He's mistreating me. He has money, so on and so forth. And he says about his wife, oh, you're a disobedient wife. You're a fasiqah. Okay? You're a sinful woman. You're an evil woman. You're an ungrateful woman. You're this and you're this and you're this and that. In other words, he's going to delegitimize her claims, her complaints by doing what? No doubt. Okay? If I can get the imam of the masjid or the people, her family, to realize that she's a fasiqah or some type of exotic special name, they'll come up for the woman, then it's automatically going to cause them to not listen to anything that she has to say about me. I've succeeded. And that's what happens. That's what happens. So, if these people are deviant, if they're right or they're wrong, what are they saying about me? Is there corruption in my country? Friends with the kuffar, this and that? What are they saying? If you're different with anything, Allah says, go back to Kitab and Sunnah. What are they saying? People, they complain, Mufti, you're a bad imam in this masjid. Shut up, you don't know more than me. What do you know? I have more knowledge than you, and all of you put together. How long did you study? You're a fool, you're ignorant, you're jealous. Tayyib. That's easy for me to say that. But the responsibility is for me to do what? Maybe they're right in what they're saying. Maybe I am a bad imam. Maybe I need to change and fix my ways. Maybe I need to resign. Maybe they need a better imam. But to just totally silence somebody and totally make their argument illegitimate by calling them names that aren't correct, that's not a correct way. That's what? That's incorrect. And that's what we see and we hear on a what? On a daily basis. On the level of the governments. Anyone who writes an article, says anything, Khawarij. Khawarij. Everybody understand this? And on the dawah field as well. Anyone who goes against us, it's a list of names that we'll call him. And once they're labeled with that name, anything that they say is automatically what? Doesn't mean anything. That's not what? That's not the proper way. Allah surely knows best. Wa alaikum salam. Khalas, inshallah. We'll conclude the session now. Thank you very much for your participation. جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد.